The Witch of Bangalore. Back in the early 1990s, there appeared to be a strange rumour spreading all across India that spoke of a witch walking through the streets after midnight, speaking in the voice of their target's mother as it would knock on the front door to their target's house in an attempt to get in. The rumours came to be known as that of the Witch of Bangalore, as it was believed to focus the majority of its time around the area of Bangalore and was the centre of the majority of its sightings. This led to many people being scared to open the front door to their house if they heard their mother calling their name, regardless of the time of day. It was not until one genius Indian child came up with a brilliant solution that the rumours surrounding the sightings of the witch would quickly die down and prevent the witch from targeting anyone else in the future. The child claimed that if people wrote the works Nale Bar on the front door, a phrase that translates to "come back tomorrow," then the witch would be forced to return the next night, only to see the sign again and repeat the cycle. This led to a wide number of people writing the phrase on their front door, leading to the continued urban legend to this day and the reason why the phrase might appear on the doors of residential zones all throughout Bangalore. El Espanto. At the northern end of the autonomous community of Extremadura, there is an area known as Las Herdes that holds a creature with strange, dark powers that can kill people that merely catch a glance of the creature. This strange being is known by the locals as the El Espanto, and seems to be at the centre of strange reports from the elderly within the community that claim to encounter the being when walking between villages at night. El Espanto is described as being a tall and slender figure, completely white from head to toe and emitting a slight glow around its body. Its features appear to be stretched and exaggerated, with the creature towering over those that claim to see, moving awkwardly with long, thin legs and reaching out with skeleton-like arms. Many witnesses have claimed that, upon seeing the creature, they become gravely ill and feel as if their life energy is leaving their body. Though, when the creature continues walking and leaves their sight, they soon recover. Some have even claimed that people have gotten sick and died as the creature continued to stand next to them, waiting for them to perish. Niccolò Paganini's skill. Often referred to as the devil's violinist, Piccolo Paganini gained fame throughout the world for not only being the greatest violinist that has ever lived, but for claiming that, even before he was born, his mother made a deal with the devil to ensure that Paganini would be the greatest violinist that the world has ever and ever will see again. According to the legend, when Niccolò Paganini was born, he came out, as most doctors described, in terribly sickly form that would bring with it chronic illnesses for the rest of his life. However, his form was a blessing for the mother, as his hands and arms were enlarged enough to allow him to play octaves on the violin with a single hand, as his fingers could stretch much further than others. Niccolò would go on to play the violin at only 5 years of age and learn the cello at age 7. His first solo public performance was at the young age of 11 and would go on to be taught by one of the greatest teachers of the violin by age 15. It was not long before the legend of the greatest violinist being born would soon spread across the entire world, as the young Niccolò Paganini would perform concerts alongside some of the greatest performers of his time. Playing on the rumours and legends, Paganini would confirm to his audience that the devil indeed was the reason for his brilliance. Other times, many had confirmed to have seen the devil playing the violin with him during his practice sessions behind stage. These rumours would continue to spread until one day, Niccolò would do the impossible. After having all of the strings of his violin completely snap, except for that of a lone string, Niccolò would then begin to improvise variations on that string, leading to him performing an entire song at 12 notes a second, the fastest pace in the world, on a single string. Many in the crowd fainted as they reported that Niccolò was capable of generating the sound of an entire symphony with one string, and so the rumours concerning his pact with the devil became fact after that very fateful day. Bimini Road. On the 2nd of September in 1968, as a group of friends were diving 18 feet underwater off the northwest coast of North Bimini Island, amateur divers discovered an incredible underwater megalithic structure. It has rounded stones of varying size and thickness which are believed to have been evidence of a wall or pavement. Further examination of the area found that the stones formed a nearly perfect linear formation, proving its artificial nature and strange discovery. In 1978, a radiocarbon laboratory at the University of Miami dated samples retrieved from a Bimini Road core and believed the area to be somewhere around 2,700 to 3,500 years old. The Mermaid sightings of Kiryat Yam. Back in 2009, there were mysterious reports coming from the local residents living in the Israeli town of Kiryat Yam. Many of them believed they had seen what they described as a mermaid swimming close to the shores of the town, which was located next to the Mediterranean Sea. According to the reports, a man by the name of Shlomo Cohen was one of the first to report the sighting with his friends. According to his account, they first saw what looked like an injured woman laying on the sand. As they approached closer, the woman sat up and then quickly jumped into the water, disappearing as the image of a tail followed behind her. Others claim that, at sunset, you can catch a glimpse of mermaids swimming by the shore that will wave at onlookers or get close to the surface of the water to be seen. Interestingly enough, the increased number of these sightings have left researchers in the town wondering what could be causing these strange sightings. In order to get to the bottom of the claims, the town has offered a $1 million reward for anyone of whom can gather evidence as to the creature's origin and likeness. This has led a number of different researchers, tourists, and cryptid enthusiasts racing to try to uncover the cause of these sightings and what could very well be the truth behind the accounts. Accounts of mermaids have been reported all throughout history, as well as mermaid-like creatures being referenced in nearly all mythologies. This could very well mean that Israel has seen the first mass-reported sightings of such creatures in the modern day. One local described the creatures as looking like an ugly woman. It was described as lying on the beach and having scaly-like skin. When the man tried to approach the humanoid, it quickly headed into the water. The locals said that the creature was around 5 feet in length, had green-coloured skin, long nails, and dark eyes, stating that it had similarities to a human, but overall it looked like something they had never seen before. After this encounter, the man said that he hasn't seen it since and had no idea what it was he witnessed that evening. Some have suggested the mermaids are a hoax and was an idea by the government to bring more tourism into the area. This worked as many people flocked to the area to try and get a glimpse of the creature. Janet's ghost. There are many stories surrounding that of Janet's ghost, some that tell of a vengeful spirit, while others claim that the ghost is nothing more than an apparition that does no harm. Regardless of these claims, Janet's ghost has come to be an apparition so feared by people living in the city of Kuching that even mentioning the name of this ghost will lead to the locals quickly walking away and refusing to engage in conversation any further out of fear that saying the ghost's name will cause a haunting. According to rumours circling around the city of Kuching, during the construction of the Satok Bridge, there had been a number of disappearances all throughout the city. The locals claimed that this was due to the construction area having housed spirits that were displeased by the construction efforts and were demanding human sacrifices for as long as their burial grounds were being disturbed. Interestingly enough, this theory would prove to be at the forefront of suspicions after the body of a young Chinese nurse that had worked at Kuching's public hospital had been discovered without a head, a traditional technique used for sacrifices in which only the head of the victim was offered. The parents, distraught and angered by the obvious murder of their daughter that was not investigated, had Janet buried in a red dress. According to Chinese superstition, those that are buried with red will return to the land of the living as a vengeful spirit aimed at their attacker. Very soon after her burial, those living within the city of Kuching began to report seeing a woman in a red dress that would display strange and almost supernatural abilities. Witness reports detailed that the spirit would manifest into a beautiful woman and trick strangers into giving her a ride in their vehicles before she would disappear and leave behind a bloodstain and the smell of rotting flesh. Ferry operators would also claim to have been paid a trip by a woman in a red dress, only for her to disappear halfway through the trip, and all of her money to turn into weird pieces of paper that showed images of hellish torture or manifested into hell notes, pieces of currency burned as offerings for the deceased. Despite these strange reports, there has yet to be anyone to claim that they had been attacked by the ghost, but this doesn't stop those witnessing the supernatural entity from running in sheer terror.